Hi, everybody. I'm Jan Baidono from Microsoft. I'm working alongside our partner ecosystem in Sweden. Today, with our partner Martello Technologies, we will focus on the management of the Microsoft 365 service delivery. Kevin Lee and Jean-François Piot from Martello will show during this short webinar how enterprise IT can ensure business line satisfaction while ensuring security and cost optimization. Kevin, can you please introduce yourself?
Yes, of course. Good morning, everyone. My name is Kevin Lee, Director Partner Management EMEA with Martello. Have been working with Martello for a little over 10 years and have been part of the family since the acquisition of Solution a little over 2 years ago. And together with Jean-François, or Jeff for short, we work on the Microsoft partnership.
Yep.
Jeff?
Hello, everybody. So yes, my name is Jean-François Piot. Of course, everybody is calling me Jeff. It's way easier. I am VP Microsoft and Strategic Alliances at Martello, really focusing on the global partnership with Microsoft now for more than 10 years. And of course, I'm very happy, and we are very happy to present you this webinar today. So maybe we can go straight in, and right before digging really into a particular use case, can give you just a few feedbacks we collected from hundreds of projects that we have been doing with enterprises. So you know, the Microsoft 365 service delivery encompasses the availability and performance of the application for the user, that's for sure. And the life cycle of this application starts, of course, with the onboarding of the user. It's then followed by the training of this user, resulting in adoption increase. And the quality of experience that the user have with the feature of Office 365, Microsoft 365, is as well extremely important in order to have them use the product, have them being satisfied, and of course increase adoption. And the quality of experience is as important as the speed with which the support can perform all the different service requests. And finally, the offboarding process is also key for cost reason, of course, but also for security reason, and we will see all of that today. Each of these parts has its own challenges, of course. For example, if you speak about the onboarding of the user, if you do it with a far away global administration, sometimes it can lead to errors and delays. Ensuring application performance as well in plenty of different countries with all these different parameters like network, ISP, etc. As well is very difficult if you don't have any clear visibility on the user experience and the perfect coordination of the different IT teams. And finally, centrally managing thousands of users coming from different subsidiaries, countries, as well can lead to security issues, mostly because of all these global admin rights you have to give. So it's very important that you take account all of these different parameters when you manage your overall service delivery with Office 365. And over the last 10 years, we have worked with many of large enterprises to make sure that they are able to optimize their user satisfaction and overall management cost. So introduction is done. Kevin, probably time to discuss what happened to one of our customers that, as a lot of you probably face these challenges, and see how we help them.
Yeah, of course. So we built this case with one of our existing customers out of the US, leading in the insurance industry. Microsoft 365 is being used by around 76,000 users across 17 subsidiaries in 75 critical locations around the world, of course, all in one single tenant. The IT department tried to centralize everything and provide Microsoft 365 as a service to all of their subsidiaries. But of course, the subsidiaries want to understand what they are paying for, and they're asking for adoption reports, SLA information, and improved support from headquarters. Without any delegation or monitoring tool, it was very difficult for them to reduce the time to handle user requests, keep an eye out on license usage and management, and ensure service performance. In fact, a lot of service incidents were directly reported by the business management to IT, which have obviously resulted in a lot of finger pointing between departments, as well as with Microsoft. And this is really the moment when when they came to us. What Martello provides is a set of solutions that face all of these challenges for you to help optimize the whole chain of Microsoft 365 service delivery. The first thing we address is detection of service quality issues. As we all know, users are on average not the most reliable source of information for monitoring because they do not provide, cold hard facts, but a lot of it is based only on emotion. Moreover, logically, they do not work, 24/7. Where Martello Gizmo tests these Microsoft 365 services exactly as your users would, performing the same actions, but doing this, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, providing you with alerting in case of service quality issues, and of course, providing statistics that enable you to qualify the issue. When that is done, you want to be able to quickly pinpoint the root cause of the issue. And this is where Martello IQ comes in and will be able to do exactly that for you. Correlating information from your existing monitoring tools into a single pane of glass that immediately shows you where the problem is and will allow you to troubleshoot straight away. And finally, with CoreView, we are providing the best solution to optimize your management costs safely, delegate the administration to subsidiaries or even non-IT people in order to speed up the user's request delivery. So now let's take a quick look to see how that works with our customer as we have prepared in our demo environment, which I will switch over to shortly. 1 second, there we go. Perfect. So first of all, let's focus on the service quality management. Our customer had two main concerns. One was on Microsoft Teams and the other one was related to Exchange. Microsoft Teams was still running in parallel with Skype for Business servers, and Exchange has a hybrid environment. We have recreated their environment in our lab for this demo to show you how now they can actually handle issues when they appear. So first, let's take a quick dive into the Microsoft Teams scenario. We start off in IQ, where we start in the service overview, where you will find a high-level overview of the overall health of your environment with data flowing in from various platforms. End user, application, and infrastructure components are all separated into their own group, which allows for proactive monitoring and gives a high-level overview of the overall health of the service. In this example, let's take a look into Teams. As we've identified, there's definitely problems there. So from here, you can see the different perspectives. You have a little bit more detail on the number of components within each perspective, and we can actually drill down further to find out what's wrong on the end user perspective side. And here we've divided this up in our locations where we can see Boston is definitely showing some issues. So again, from here, dive down a little bit deeper. And we can see that there are actually two, end user tests that we see. The team service performance, being the one that's definitely having some troubles. So what's nice about what we can do now is actually navigate directly into the Gizmo UI and see what's going on. This brings us to the Office 365 Operations dashboard, which tells us on a very high level on how our various Microsoft 365 services are performing. As we know, there are issues with Teams, so definitely let's take a deeper dive into Teams and investigate. On the left-hand side, you'll see we have a number of options for us. From here, we'll navigate to dashboards and dive into Teams Advanced. You notice that there are actually two dashboards for teams. The advanced dashboard actually gives detailed information on a variety of actions our robots are taking, whereas the quote unquote normal teams dashboards is more focused on voice quality. So now we've arrived, we can definitely see Teams is in the red. Now, if we scroll down a little bit, we can see the percentile per action by app, where we actually see our robot users doing a number of tests. And lo and behold, we are definitely seeing an increase here on Boston on both the Wi-Fi side as well as the LAN side, which of course is troubling. We can even scroll down a little bit further and take a look at the bandwidth average, where we can also see that there's not a lot available in Boston at the moment. So we can definitely identify already a little bit on where the issues might lie. So from here, let's take a look at the voice Teams dashboard and see what we can find out there. Now, if we take a closer look at the MOS by app, these are obviously scores being put in by the robot users. Especially Boston Wi-Fi is definitely showing some challenges there, where the scores are actually quite low. Then if we scroll down a little bit further and we take a look at the login time by app, we can see both Boston Wi-Fi and Boston LAN have an increased time from a login perspective. So now that we have identified and qualified, that our Teams users in Boston are being negatively impacted by something, it's time to navigate back into IQ and find the root cause. So from here, we'll just navigate to the services overview, and we'll dive into the same service, but we'll obviously take a look at the infrastructure side of the house, where the issues will most likely be originating from. We can see definitely problems with the network. From here, we dive into an Explorer, which will immediately give a very quick glance at some of the objects that are available there, identifying the router being a pretty big issue. And lo and behold, when we drill down actually into the Cisco 866, we can see there's definitely some challenges there, which are most likely to be impacting our overall Teams service. So what's nice about IQ, from here, what I can do is actually take a look at the raw properties and start troubleshooting further, which means I could then go to, in this case, PRTG for troubleshooting. So that is, of course, scenario one from a Teams perspective. The second one we were going to take a look at is related to the email service, also known as Exchange. So when we take a closer look at the business services overview, one of the things that we've noticed there is that all of the Exchange Online, Exchange 2010, Exchange 2010, 2013, all of them are showing issues of some sort on the application or infrastructure level, but our end users are not yet affected. And as you might have noticed, when we were in Gizmo, we also have dashboards available there that take a closer look at the end user performance for Exchange. So let's navigate there straight away and find out what's going on there. See if we can find any degradation in services. All right, let's take a quick look there. So here we can see from an end user perspective, everything is still green. But there's definitely something going on in Boston. As we scroll down to the actions by app, we can see that the overall performance and actions for certain things taking a lot more time in Boston than across the world, both on the Wi-Fi side as well as, of course, the LAN network. As we've just demonstrated, in the IQ shows application and infrastructure perspectives as well. This being a hybrid Exchange environment. Let's switch back to IQ and see if we can spot any significant differences that could potentially negatively impact Exchange. So now that we're back to IQ, from here, as I've just identified, we can see the end user perspectives are still green, but application and infrastructure are definitely showing issues. To showcase a slightly different approach on how you can actually build out your dashboards, I'll show you a different one here as well, something we like to call boards, which are basically collections of information, components, dashboards, services, what have you, tailored by yourself. So you can create these specifically for specific roles. So here you can see that all of the boards that have been created in our environment, allowing users to create groups tailored for them, allowing for a quick overview of the components that are most important to them. There's obviously various ways to showcase. We have a knock mode if you're just interested in a bright color, but you can also just simply show a heat map. All depends on your requirements. As we know, our issue is with Exchange. Our customers, as well as us, have created a specific board called Email Global Service Dashboard. So let's navigate there to take a closer look. And within this board, you can see that we've included all of our locations related to Exchange. Let's go to members, Paris, Singapore, Boston, and Geneva, and can immediately see that the Boston location, unfortunately, is seeming to having all sorts of issues today. We do see something in yellow with Singapore, but as red is more critical, let's take a deeper dive there. And from here, again, going into the Explorer, and lo and behold, it is actually the same Cisco router that is causing issues for both Exchange and for Teams. Meaning that if we would resolve this particular issue, it will actually help us not only make sure Teams is back and running again, but ensure Exchange stays up and make sure the SLA numbers are being met. So, and these are the two scenarios that we were going to show you. So let me quickly switch back into the PowerPoint presentation. Let's take a close look, which I think you should be able to see now as well.
Yep.
Perfect. Yep. Thanks to the combination of Martello, Gizmo, and IQ, our customer can now efficiently detect any service issues before they affect their users, qualify them, and then quickly find the root cause of the issue to involve the right team at the right moment. Now, this has clearly reduced their support costs down for their Microsoft services while improving the user experience and adoption. One of the important things to note here is that being proactive, meaning services are up, meaning user satisfaction will stay at an all-time high. Thanks to that, there's no finger pointing anymore between IT and the business, and they both can have a very clear vision of their end-to-end service level agreement related to Microsoft 365. Let's see how now we can help them reduce their administration costs. Maybe Jeff, maybe you can show this one.
Yep, of course. Let me show my screen. Can you see my screen, Kevin?
Yes, I see the screen. Yeah.
Very good. So as you might remember, as Kevin explained you, this company has 17 subsidiaries all over the world, plenty of different countries, of course, and everything is in a single tenant. So for each subsidiaries in each countries, all the users are managed on a central area, and then you need to get a lot of provide a lot of full admin rights to your administrator in order to operate all of these users. And that causes security risk and as well sometimes slowness in user management. And on top of that, as they have an important employee turnover, it's difficult to make sure that people are really offboarded when they leave the company. So I will show you how it works here, okay? So if I go, so this is the main screen of CoreView. There's plenty of different dashboards. So that's really the theme of the webinar today. But of course, if you want more information, we can provide you with more after all. So if I check on my single tenant here, I have, for this demo purposes, 1,300, about a bit more than 1,300 users. Okay, so but you have to imagine now you have 100,000 users here, where you have to provide global and you have to provide a global admin rights to provide to perform all the user requests that you need to do. So here, let's say that we want to create subcategories, subtenant, where you can directly affect operators that will only be able to manage this set of users with only the rights that you need. So that's pretty easy to do. You go and manage vtenant here. So here you see all the different subtenants, we call that virtual tenant, that are already created. And again, that are grouping user thanks to any ID attribute into subtenant that you can now manage by a different operator without giving them any global admin rights. So if I want to add one, it's extremely easy. I click add one. For example, of course, you recognize that I'm French, so let's say France, and let's say French users, and then pretty easily you can affect an operator. Let's see, our dear Brad will be the operator for that, and then you just have to say, okay, so I want all the user where my country in the ID is France. Easy. And so right here from there, I can create that virtual tenant, and I will be able to only manage the user that are on this tenant. And if I want to check that and to manage exactly all this permission, then I can quickly get here and then choose by operator. So we say we wanted to check what Brad is going to do on that virtual tenant. Here you can say, okay, this is exactly what you will see in that portal. So you can hide everything you want, pretty easy. And then what you can do really with the user, so the French user that is managing. So, and then you can choose really every action that you want him to be able to do to manage this user. And so as you're doing that, of course, you can, for example, provide rights on that particular tenant to the HR to do very specific tasks, or rights to a global administrator for France that will be able to do all the tasks. You really choose exactly the way you want to organize your administration and the different level that you want to provide. So now, if I go back on my user, and I only want to be in my tenant, my subtenant French, click here, and then now you will see in my user, I don't see 1300-ish, I see 82 results. So I can only see the user that I have in my virtual tenant. And if I get all the different, if I want to get all the different reports I have from here, I will only see the report that are containing all the French user of that subtenant. So that's really the way our large customer was able to quickly organize its administration, reducing the number of global admin rights, again, because now you can have plenty of different countries and assign the different operator you want, and they will only get the rights to do what they have to do, and they won't have global admin rights. You can delegate action very close to the user, to the business, to the HR, and then it's improved the service delivery and, of course, the quality of support. So the second point we were talking in this business case, in this use case, was to optimize the license administration and, of course, the global cost. So let's go here in license optimization. So this customer had a lot of, let's go at the global tenant level and not at the French level. Here we see all the users because you want to optimize on all of your users. And this customer, of course, had a lot of E3. And as we explained to you before, there's also a lot of employee turnover. So detecting the underused license or license without user was very important, because basically you want to be able to re-affect them to a user that really exists and manage your pool of license the best possible way to be the best possible cost effective. So here, for example, we just click on, so we click on E3 to see all the users with E3. And then here we see that there's 39 users that have not used at all any of the workload during the last 90 days. So these users, probably these 39 users, probably they're not with the company anymore. So you will be able to either remove the license, affect the license to other people, and really optimize the way you are using Office 365 licenses. So if you want to do that, you can just click on Action, Schedule, and then you choose what you want to do. Maybe you want to do that, when you find people or when you don't find people. So here, when the report with user not using for the last 90 days is not empty, then maybe you want to do that report, I don't know, every week. That would be interesting, and you can set up when you want to start, etc. And then, of course, you can choose what kind of action you want to do with these users. So, for example, you can choose different type of workflow. For example, training workflow, don't do anything, provisioning these licenses to other user, or of course offboarding. So there's really a different way. For example, what you can do, what the customer did is that when they found user like that, they will automatically send an email to the HR. Say, okay, are these users part of the company, yes or not? And then if the HR answer by they are not, then automatically it will remove these licenses and make them available for other user in the of the organization. So it was really a way for that big company with a lot of turnover to automatically manage all their licenses and make sure they always get the best of their investment with Microsoft 365. So we have seen only two main points of the core view suite. As you can see, there's plenty of other things you can do. You can manage. There's a lot of different options to manage, to do different actions here. But if you want more information, we can provide you that later on. So basically, it's really a tool allowing you to enhance user and help your help desk to be more productive, while also improving all the security aspect of Microsoft 365. So we have seen that now. We will present plenty of other things another time. Maybe we can go back to the slide just to make a quick conclusion on that point and the webinar. Kevin, can you go back on the slide?
Yes, you should be able to see it now.
Oh, great. So yes, so to sum up this part about the security and the service quality delivery, we've seen now with this last tool, you can really safely create virtual tenants with limited management rights for anybody who wants. This makes the entire user management more efficient and less costly. And on top of that, you can really spot unused license and clearly optimize your ROI while reducing your security risks. So, great way to use that tool. Kevin, can you conclude? Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks, Jeff. I guess we're just a little over time, so I'll keep this very short and sweet. We see here more of the summarization of customers' challenges on the left, and results provided that Martello Technologies does on the right. Overall, user satisfaction has improved with management and support costs decreasing significantly for our customers. In the end, this large insurance firm is now completely in control over their entire Microsoft service delivery and have greatly improved their overall ROI with its Microsoft 365 investment. And with that, we have come to the final slide, the thank you. So of course, thanks everyone for your time and attention today. If you're interested in learning a bit more, wanting a trial license, demonstration, or just simply have a few questions, feel free to reach out to us. My contact details are actually in the final slide. Also, if you want a more extensive demo, we are here for that as well. I would like to thank Jeff and Kan for being part of this session with us. And thanks to everyone attending, and have a great day. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you, Kevin. Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.